Why did Twilight Sparkle break up with her boyfriend? Because he forgot to put the cap back on the glitter glue. Again. Now, if you've been following the many adventures of our beloved Twilight Sparkle, you know that she's not just a regular unicorn. She's a unicorn with a penchant for perfection. And let me tell you, this perfectionist streak of hers has led to some truly hilarious relationship mishaps. Picture this: a romantic dinner lit by the soft glow of magic, a suitor nervously trying to impress Twilight with his knowledge of arcane lore, and then, bam! He mispronounces a single word in an ancient spell, and just like that, Twilight's out the door faster than you can say Equestria. Or how about the time when a potential beau gifted her a first edition of Starswirl the Bearded's comprehensive compendium of spells, but he dog-eared a page? I mean, who does that? Needless to say, that relationship ended before it could even begin. And let's not forget the time when Twilight's date dared to suggest that perhaps, just perhaps, Princess Celestia might not be the most powerful pony in all of Equestria. Oh, the horror! I'm sure you can guess how that one ended. Now don't get me wrong, we all adore Twilight, but one can't help but chuckle at the sheer absurdity of her romantic misadventures. And today we're going to delve into the depths of these comical calamities. We're going to be taking a look at the 50 worst relationships Twilight Sparkle has ever been in. And when I say worst, I mean it in the most entertaining way possible. From the absurd to the ridiculous, from the laughable to the ludicrous, we've got it all lined up for you. So buckle up, folks. Let's start our countdown of Twilight Sparkle's 50 worst relationships. And remember, it's all in good fun. Starting at number 50, we have Twilight's short-lived romance with a stack of dusty old books. Yes, you've heard it right. It was a classic love story of girl meets book, girl falls in love with book, and then girl breaks up with book because it wasn't alphabetized correctly. Talk about having high standards. Moving on to number 49, we have the time Twilight dated a cloud. Yes, a literal cloud. They had a whirlwind romance, but alas, the cloud could not appreciate Twilight's color-coded schedule, and they had to go their separate ways. Our dear Twilight prefers order to chaos, even in her relationships. At number 48, we have Twilight's fling with a quill pen. Oh, they wrote beautiful sonnets together, but the quill just couldn't keep up with Twilight's fast-paced writing. It was a case of, it's not you, it's me, where the me was Twilight's impatience. Number 47 brings us to Twilight's relationship with a map of Equestria. They shared many adventures together, but the map couldn't handle Twilight's constant need for updates and corrections. Twilight, darling, not everyone can keep up with your pace. Coming in at number 46, we have the time Twilight dated a telescope. It was a match made in heaven until the telescope failed to spot a minor constellation. Twilight, our perfectionist, could not tolerate this astronomical error, and thus ended another relationship. At number 45, we have Twilight and a spellbook. It was love at first sight, but the spellbook couldn't handle Twilight's constant nitpicking and corrections. Twilight, my dear, sometimes you have to let things slide. Number 44 to 42 involve various inanimate objects that left Twilight due to her obsessive tendencies. A sundial, a set of measuring scales, and a compass all bid farewell to our dear Twilight. And finally, at number 41, we have Twilight's romance with a dictionary. It was a beautiful relationship, filled with words and definitions, until the dictionary misspelled anti-disestablishmentarianism. It was a deal-breaker for Twilight, and that's just the tip of the iceberg. Stay tuned for more hilarious breakups. Moving right along, at number 40, we have Twilight's short-lived fling with a stack of hay. Yes, you heard that right. Twilight, in her relentless pursuit of knowledge, once tried to learn the language of hay. She spent countless nights whispering sweet nothings into its straw-like ears. The hay, of course, didn't respond, being inanimate and all, but that didn't stop our Twilight from trying and trying and trying. At 39, we have the time she dated her own reflection. Twilight was so impressed by her own intelligence that she thought, who better to date than myself? She would spend hours locked in conversation with her mirror image, debating the merits of different spellcasting techniques. It ended when she realized she was hogging all the conversation and not giving herself a chance to speak. Next up, at 38, is the infamous relationship with the library's card catalogue. Twilight's love for organization and orderliness was taken to a new level when she started spending more time with the card catalogue than actual ponies. She would meticulously arrange and rearrange the cards, whispering sweet words of organization and order. The relationship ended when the card catalogue filed a restraining order. Number 37 brings us to the time Twilight tried to date a quill. Yes, she actually tried to serenade a writing instrument. Twilight's obsession with the written word manifested in this bizarre relationship. She would spend hours gushing over the smoothness of the quill's stroke and the sharpness of its tip. The quill, on the other hand, felt used and inked out. For 36, remember when Twilight dated a spell book? She was so taken with the book's knowledge and wisdom that she forgot it was, well, a book. She would read it bedtime stories and take it out for candlelit dinners. Twilight's overbearing nature became too much when she started controlling what pages the book could open to. We're getting closer to the top, folks. You won't believe what's coming up next. At number 30, we have a relationship that ended because Twilight Sparkle couldn't stop correcting her partner's grammar. She even went so far as to send him to remedial English classes. Talk about a grammar Nazi. Next, at 29, Twilight's incessant need to organize everything caused another breakup. Her partner couldn't handle the color-coded, alphabetized bookshelves and the meticulously arranged sock drawers anymore. Apparently, too much order can indeed be chaos. At number 28, Twilight's obsession with punctuality was the deal-breaker. She broke up with her beau because he was consistently 3 minutes and 42 seconds late for their dates. According to her, he was disrespecting the laws of time. For number 27, Twilight's overzealous love for books ended another relationship. She dumped her partner because he dog-eared a page in one of her books. In her defense, it was a first edition of The History of Equestria. At 26, Twilight's excessive use of magic was the problem. She turned her partner into a frog because he wouldn't stop croaking about his favorite sports team. Well, at least he got to experience his passion from a new perspective. Coming in at 25, Twilight's intense love for math was too much for another partner. She broke up with him because he didn't understand the beauty of a perfect Fibonacci sequence. It's not rocket science. At number 24, Twilight's inability to relax became the issue. She ended another relationship because her partner suggested she take a day off from her studies. The audacity. At number 23, Twilight's insistence on always being right caused another breakup. She couldn't handle being wrong, even when it came to guessing the number of jelly beans in a jar. At number 22, Twilight's sleep-talking was the problem. Her partner couldn't handle her reciting spell incantations in her sleep. And finally, at number 21, Twilight's obsession with cleanliness ended another relationship. She broke up with her partner because he wouldn't wash his hooves every 15 minutes. Hygiene is important, but that's taking it to another level. And we're not done yet. The worst is yet to come. We're getting into the top 20 now, and it's getting even more absurd. At number 20, Twilight decided that a shared love for books wasn't enough. They had to be the right books. And at 19, she dumped her beau because he dared to dog-ear a page. The audacity! 18 brings us to the time she ended things over a disagreement about the correct pronunciation of Leviosa. Yes, you heard it right. And at 17, she broke it off because her partner couldn't understand her extensive Star Swirl the Bearded fan theories. Number 16 was a doozy. She called it quits because her paramour didn't appreciate her color-coded relationship timeline. Then at 15, she ended things because he failed to notice her new, slightly shinier tiara. How could he? At 14, she dumped him because he couldn't keep up with her reading speed. And at 13, she ended it over a disagreement on the proper use of semicolons. At 12, she split because her partner didn't appreciate her twilight time, her sacred, uninterrupted study hours. And finally, at 11, she cut ties because he dared to question her organizational system. Hold on to your hats, because we're about to dive into the top 10 worst relationships. Brace yourselves, folks. Here come the top 10 worst relationships. Kicking off our countdown at number 10, Twilight Sparkle broke up with a pony because they didn't use coasters. Yes, you heard that right. Coasters. She decided the relationship just wasn't stable enough. Get it? Stable? Moving on. At number 9, Twilight called it quits because a certain someone mispronounced library. She was utterly shocked and appalled, declaring it a literary catastrophe. The breakups got weirder as we moved up the list. She ended things with a pony for eating hay too loudly, another for not appreciating her book collection, and one for the unforgivable crime of blinking too much. Finally, at number 1, she broke up with a pony because they didn't understand her love for alphabetizing. She claimed it was a categorical disaster. And there you have it, folks. Twilight Sparkle's 50 worst relationships. Remember, no ponies were harmed in the making of this video. Wow, what a ride! Twilight Sparkle sure knows how to pick 'em, doesn't she? We've seen our dear Twilight Sparkle navigate the tumultuous waters of love, and let's just say she's no expert sailor. Let's take a moment to revisit some of the most memorable moments of Twilight's love life. Remember when she dated a rock? And no, we're not talking about Dwayne Johnson, we're talking about an actual literal rock. Or how about when she fell for that snobby centaur, the one who was more interested in his own reflection than in Twilight herself? And who could forget the time she tried to woo a dragon, only to find out he was more interested in his hoard of gold than in her? But let's not forget the biggest twist of all, that Twilight herself was often the one causing the chaos. Yes, you heard it right. Our Twilight, the one we know and love, was the one stirring up the drama. Whether it was her overbearing personality, her inability to let things go, or the fact that she just couldn't stop meddling in her partner's lives, Twilight sure knew how to keep things interesting. Now, before we wrap up, let's remember, this was all in good fun. We love Twilight Sparkle, regardless of her questionable dating choices. We've laughed, we've gasped, and we've definitely raised our eyebrows more than once. But at the end of the day, we all know that the world of Equestria is far from ordinary. So really, is Twilight's love life all that surprising? We hope you've enjoyed this light-hearted look into Twilight Sparkle's romantic escapades. It's been a wild ride, but it's a testament to the fact that love, in all its forms, is indeed a battlefield. And Twilight Sparkle, well, she's definitely a soldier. Thanks for joining us on this hilarious journey through Twilight Sparkle's love life. Until next time, remember, love is a battlefield, especially if you're Twilight Sparkle.